Welcome to Skill Session. Today we're going to talk about cross-site scripting. So I've made this script that allows us to type something into a form, and when something's been typed into that form, it's going to be inserted into our database. And then after that, we take everything that's already in the database and we print that out down here. So how that looks is something like this. So I can write my name here and I can write everything is awesome, and that's going to be my status. I can hit submit and it's going to go down here. And after I post something, I have a header here that redirects to the same page. So that's just to convert the post request to a get request to avoid reposting the same thing if I hit the refresh button. So after posting this, I can just hit refresh again and again because I have this header on. But I have a problem here. I can do cross-site scripting. Let me show you how that works real quick. So let me put on my mask and let's hack this one. My name is obviously anonymous, and in here I'm gonna write a bit of script. So script/script. In here I'll put a bit of JavaScript, a little alert saying you been hacked. I'll hit submit. And you can see that this pops up. This means that the JavaScript is actually being executed. That's a bit of a problem. We don't want our JavaScript to be actually executed if people do something like this. We want it to just be written on the screen. If we hit the inspector and we open the code in here, we can see that it says, here we have the code directly in here as code. This is what we want to avoid. We can do that in a couple of different ways. You can see we're already actually binding parameters here. So we're doing something to avoid SQL injection, but this is not SQL injection. This is scripting. So what we want to do is we want to either sanitize our strings as they're coming in to avoid there being any kind of code in them. How would that look? We say name equals filter var, and then we're setting the variable from the post array in here and saying filter sanitize full special characters. And then of course we need to use that variable down here instead of directly from the post array, because then it doesn't matter. And we can do the same for the status. We want to try hacking this again. So my name is Sir Hackalot and I'm writing a script alert. I can also hack. Hit submit. It still shows the you've been hacked message because that script is already in there. We're not doing anything to get that out again. But the other script here is just posted as text. So what's the difference? The difference is that we've used a filter out here that converts special characters to their equivalent HTML entities. So that's one way to achieve this. Now, by doing this, I avoid the code ever coming into the database as code, but I can do something else instead. If I remove this code and I go down here where I'm printing it out, I can say I want to only print out HTML special chars, special characters. So if I wrap that around the status as I'm printing it out, the name and the status, hit save, go over here and refresh. Now even the script that came in here from Anonymous doesn't look right, but something else happened up here. We're getting a bunch of strange things here. And the reason for that is we can actually see now what's called HTML entities. See, the problem is we can convert a special character into an HTML entity. But if we convert that HTML entity into an HTML entity, then things start looking a little bit weird. So let's try with a simple example here, just by the end of the list, saying HTML entities does almost the same as HTML special characters, and just that HTML special characters only does it when it's necessary. HTML entities does it with every single character. So we're doing HTML entities on this bracket right here. Echo, refresh. Now we have it here, it's visible. But if we say HTML entities on that, so we do it again, save and refresh, now it becomes this and less than semicolon. That's already what it said, but now that's been converted to a way to read that. And that means that if we do it again, HTML entities, then it's gonna start looking even worse because that first ampersand is now also converted into a HTML entity. So if you see something like that, that's probably what's going on, that you're doing the same thing multiple times. So that's a little bit on cross-site scripting. You should know what it is, how to avoid it, how to do it, and that's gonna be all for this short skill session. Bye-bye, see you next time.